In just 11 minutes, uncover the most explosive insights from Ezra Klein's interview with Red District Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. She reveals what both parties get wrong, how Trump hijacked her ideas, and why rural America is furious. From forgotten voters to trade lies and party betrayal, these 10 takeaways expose the raw truth behind politics, polarization, and who's really losing power in America. Takeaway 1, a Democrat who won where Trump did, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez represents Washington's 3rd District, a region that voted for Donald Trump 3 times. This makes her one of only 13 Democrats in the country holding a seat in a Trump voting district. She won not by pretending to be someone else, but by being honest about who she is and staying close to her community's values. Her approach is not based on party loyalty, but on loyalty to her district. She says clearly that she is not a mouthpiece for any political agenda except the needs of her local community. Her town halls are often filled with people who voted for Trump, but she shows up anyway and listens. She believes that when people feel ignored, they get angry and push back, which is why she emphasizes showing up in person, even in hostile settings. Marie mentions that her voters don't care about polished talking points or culture wars. They want affordable housing, decent jobs, and someone who listens. Her campaign outperformed both Trump and Vice President Harris, which shows how effective her local-first strategy has been. For example, she explains that when she talks to farmers in her district, they don't use big policy words like antitrust, but they absolutely understand the pain of going from 12 chicken buyers to just 2. That's monopoly power, just in plain language. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2. Her voters are sick of both sides. Marie says that most of her district is not caught up in extreme right or left politics. In her words, about 8% are hyper-focused on the left, and another 8% are hyper-focused on the right. But the rest just want to live their lives. She believes both parties are losing touch with average people. Her constituents are tired of national politics treating them like pawns in someone else's game. Many of them are just trying to hold on to their homes, raise kids, and make it to work on time. They are not attending daily protests or following every news scandal. She points out that while elites may obsess over culture war issues or tweets, her voters care about trash pickup, fentanyl addiction, and whether their truck is about to be repossessed. The constant noise from Washington does not reflect what people feel on the ground. Marie says she listens more to people who had to get a babysitter to attend a town hall than someone who is paid to be there. For example, she said when constituents were writing her about Hunter Biden's laptop, they were not necessarily obsessed with the story, but were expressing a deep frustration that the legal system seems to protect the powerful and punish the poor. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3, Trump is echoing her economic ideas. Despite being on opposite ends of the political spectrum, Donald Trump has started using economic language that sounds a lot like what Marie has been saying for years. He now talks about how the country's addicted to cheap goods from China and how that hurts American workers. Marie finds this strange because these ideas used to be ignored by the mainstream, but now Trump is promoting them. She points out that when she said these things before, people acted like she was some crank from a rural area. Now the former president is echoing those same ideas about producing things locally and reducing dependency on foreign goods. She doesn't necessarily think Trump's policies are sincere or well-planned, but she finds it fascinating that he has picked up on the same frustrations. For example, she says when the paper mills in her district were shut down, we didn't just lose jobs. We started packaging everything in disposable plastic from Saudi Arabia, while wildfires increased at home due to poor land management. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4. People want less crap and more meaning. Marie criticizes what she sees as a cultural addiction to cheap disposable products. She believes this mindset is hurting the economy and the soul of the country. Her message is not just about economics, but also about dignity. She argues that being a consumer should not define who you are. You should also be a producer, a steward, someone who knows how to fix things, not just buy new stuff. She advocates for policies like requiring manufacturers to put the expected lifespan and maintenance costs on appliances so people can make better choices. This is about durable wealth, not just savings at the checkout counter. For example, she says her stove is from 1954 and still works. That kind of long-lasting product used to be common and created real value over time. Now, appliances break after 2 years, and that leads to more trash and more frustration. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5, Democrats have become the party of Wall Street. One of Marie's more controversial points is her claim that the Democratic Party is now defending the NASDAQ and acting as protectors of the stock market. She finds this deeply ironic since Democrats used to stand for working people. She says it feels like both parties have flipped. Trump talks about working class issues while Democrats talk about investment portfolios. She finds it bizarre that Democrats are now being accused of being too friendly to global corporations and financial elites. This realignment confuses her and makes it hard to find allies in her own party. She says, it's a weird thing to watch. For example, she points out how tax credits for electric vehicles and heat pumps often benefit wealthier people who can afford to buy new things, while people in rural communities just try to keep their used cars running. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. She rejects the protestor mindset of the left. Marie is not shy about criticizing what she calls resisting the resistance. She says that simply protesting Trump is not enough. Democrats need to offer a better policy agenda that actually improves people's lives. She argues that shouting and being angry might feel good, but it does not solve real problems. She calls this protest mindset a kind of performance that doesn't reflect the average person's reality. If you have the free time and financial stability to go to protests every day, that already separates you from the experience of most Americans. Marie believes politics should be about offering practical solutions, not just screaming into the void. For example, she recalls talking to someone who protests Tesla every day and said they love getting flicked off by truck drivers. Marie sees that as unproductive and disconnected from the kind of politics that actually helps people get clean from fentanyl or start a business. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. Rural life offers hard but real wisdom. Marie talks about how living in a rural place without trash pickup forces you to confront your own waste. In her area, you have to store your trash and then haul it to the dump yourself. That experience makes people think twice before buying single-serving yogurt or cheap plastic goods. She sees this as a better environmental ethic than what she calls consumer environmentalism, which is just buying matte packaged products from Target and calling yourself green. She believes true environmentalism is about how you live, not what you buy. For example, when her family doesn't buy toys for their child and instead encourages playing with dirt and sticks, it's not just about saving money. It's about raising a kid who understands nature, simplicity, and creativity. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. Her political identity is rooted in localism. Marie identifies strongly with the idea of localism, the belief that politics should be built from the ground up, not dictated by think tanks in Washington. She helped revive the Blue Dog Democrats, a group focused on bringing back community-focused politics. She says nationalized politics is breaking democracy because it imposes one-size-fits-all solutions that don't fit anyone well. She believes the best federal policies are the ones born from the specific needs of local communities. For example, she says when the Democratic Party tried to rebrand rural areas as backward or unworthy of investment, it just pushed people further away. She wants to change that narrative by making rural voices matter again in national debates. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. People are traumatized and angry, but need strategy. Marie believes that both fear and rage are real and justified, especially with the rise of Trump and the erosion of institutions like due process. But she also says we cannot let emotion replace strategy. The parts of your brain that handle anger are not the same parts that handle planning and problem solving. She argues that outrage without a plan only deepens division. She urges people to channel their emotions into practical action, like building local networks, restoring the trades, and fixing broken systems. For example, she describes how a veteran support group in her district saw a collapse in volunteerism after food assistance cuts. Not because people stopped caring, but because survival took priority. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. Fentanyl, addiction, and despair are ignored by elites. One of the most heartbreaking parts of the interview is Marie's focus on the fentanyl crisis. She says that in her world, addiction is not abstract. It is her neighbors getting into car wrecks or breaking into grandma's house to pay for a fix. She says many political elites do not feel this crisis personally, so they are not taking it seriously. The problem is made worse by outdated policies, poor interagency communication, and lack of access to treatment. Marie highlights how current treatment options require people to drive hours daily, which is impossible for most rural residents. She supports investing in long-release medications and improving law enforcement coordination. For example, she tells a story of a factory manager in Mexico who discovered fentanyl precursors being smuggled in on weekends. When he told the police, they said either shut up or move to Canada. He chose Canada. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.